Welcome to JD's Prep. In this problem, Sarah wants to buy a snowboard that has a total cost of $580, including tax. She has already saved $135 for it. At the end of each week, she has paid $96 for babysitting and is going to save 3/4 of that money for the snowboard. The first thing we want to do is we want to write an inequality that can be used to determine the minimum number of weeks Sarah needs to babysit in order to have enough money to purchase the snowboard. In order to write this inequality, there are a couple of things that we need to know. First, how much money is she going to save each week for the snowboard? If we want to determine the minimum number of weeks, that's going to be our variable x. And by finding the amount of money she's going to save each week for the snowboard, we'll be able to write this inequality. In the problem, the information that tells us how much money she's getting each week is the $96, but she is only going to be saving 3/4 of that for the snowboard. So if we have 3/4 of 96, that means she is going to be saving $72 each week for the snowboard. Putting that together with our variable for the number of weeks, that means that each week she is going to be, if we're looking at a number of weeks rather, we have 72x, giving us the amount of money that she is saving here. The other information is that she already saved $135. So we can tack on that $135 to the 72x. This is going to give us the total amount of money that Sarah has saved. In order to purchase the snowboard, that total amount that Sarah has saved must be at least $580. If she has less than $580, she won't be able to afford the snowboard. If she has exactly $580, she will. And if she has more than $580, she'll be able to afford it. So that means for our inequality, we're going to want the 135 plus 72x, the total amount saved, to be greater than or equal to $580. So this is our inequality. This inequality can be used now to determine the minimum number of weeks Sarah needs to babysit in order to have enough money for the snowboard. For the second part, we want to actually use that inequality to find out how many weeks she needs to babysit in order to afford her purchase. To do that, we need to solve that inequality for x. So we start off with the 135 plus 72x greater than or equal to 580. Subtract 135 from both sides of this inequality, which leaves us with 72x being greater than or equal to 445. If we then divide both sides by 72, that's going to give us the inequality x greater than or equal to 6.2. So in other words, Sarah has to work at least 6.2 weeks in order to have enough money to purchase the snowboard. But she's only getting paid at the end of every week. And in fact, in this part of the problem, it emphasizes that fact by looking at the minimum number of full weeks that Sarah needs to babysit. If she only babysits for 6 weeks, she's not quite going to have enough money to afford the snowboard. So it's not going to be until the end of the 7th week when she will cross over that $580 to have enough money. So our answer here would be that Sarah must babysit a minimum of 7 weeks. to afford the snowboard. So you want to be a little bit careful, especially with problems like this, where you end up with a decimal answer, but the problem is asking you for a whole number. And when it said the number of full weeks that she needs to babysit, that was your clue that you need to have a whole number as your answer. And since x had to be somewhere greater than or equal to 6.2, the next whole number that is greater than or equal to 6.2 is 7. So our answer was 7 weeks.